Students have been relocated to safer areas due to earth slip threats in several areas. Scholarship examination results are to be released within 45 days. President reiterates on the importance of setting up a trade hub in the Asian region led by China in order to compete with the global markets. Minipel Bank development project has been vested with the general public. Government of Israel says it is planning to attack the Gaza Strip by air, sea and land. Kusal Mendis has been named as the new captain of the Sri Lanka cricket team. Sri Lanka wins the Central Asian Volleyball Championship trophy. Now on to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, families displaced from Koslanda Miriabadda in Haldumulla due to landslide threats have been relocated in several protective centres.
Members of 241 families have been shifted to safer places. Red alerts on earth slip warnings issued by the National Building Research Organisation for the Haldumulla Divisional Secretariat Division continue to remain valid. The current earth slip threat remains in a location closer to the landslide that had taken place in October 2014. Accordingly, residents in 2 Grama Seva divisions have been evacuated. These families have been kept under detention at the Koslanda Old Tea Factory, Punagala Disaster Relief Camp, Mahakanda Disaster Protection Centre and the Koslanda Tamil College. The Rupavahini Corporation says problems have arisen regarding transporting displaced family to safety centres. A soil mountain has fallen in 5 houses in the Theresia plantation in Bogavantalawa during heavy rainfall in the area. 30 residents have been transferred to protective places. Road leading to the fair in Bandaravilla was inundated due to incessant rainfall this afternoon. Scenes of vegetables and fruits floating on water were witnessed. As a result, traders and consumers have been subjected to strenuous difficulties. Floods have killed a person in the Pannigala village in Malimbada Matara. Burial of the dead was disrupted due to floods. The scenes show how the body was brought to a crematorium. Irrigation engineer in charge of the Dedru Reservoir, Sampath Samarajiva, says that 4 sluice gates of the Dedru have been kept open. Each of the gates have been raised by 3 feet as the water level in the Dedru reached near the spill level by dawn today. Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority says there would be a possibility of an emergency opening of sluice gates in the dam of the Mahaweli Reservoir in Polgola due to heavy rainfall. A request has been made from the residents in the lower level of the reservoir to remain vigilant and to be careful while using the Mahaweli river waters. The upcountry is receiving torrential rainfall. It has also been reported that after heavy downpour in Uduhavara in Ubaparanagama last evening, large quantities of foam have emerged in the Uduhavara fields. Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara says that the Grade 5 scholarship examination was successfully conducted today.
It was conducted in 2,888 centres this morning, although the students have participated in the examination with great interest. In certain areas, they were obstructed due to bad weather conditions. 337,956 candidates have sat for the examination this year, and 491 centres have functioned as coordinating centres. Several institutions, including the Sri Lankan Police, the 3 armed forces and the district and divisional secretariat divisions officers and disaster management centres have extended their contribution for the successful conducting of the examination. The SLTB and private buses have been deployed for transporting the students. Our correspondent says that students were compelled to face difficulties due to heavy rainfall when they were arriving at the examination centres this morning. A minor flood situation prevailed in certain areas. The Godakanda Karapitiya road is still underwater due to water disposal in the canal in Gaul. Floods have not yet subsided in Akurasa, Paraduwa and Higantiriya. Students in certain areas have confronted hardships when travelling to their examination centres. Floods continue in Malimbada, Thihatagoda and Kambarupitiya in the Matara district. Candidates in these areas have also been obstructed in reaching their examination centres. The Divisional Secretariat division officers and other state institutions have mediated in providing facilities for the students to arrive at the examination centres. Boats, unibuffer vehicles, barges and heavy vehicles have been deployed in this connection. Due to the inclement weather condition, 128 examination candidates at the Uyangoda Central College had to be transferred to the Naradadiya Central College for sit for the examination. President Ranil Wickremesinghe pointed out the importance of setting up a trade hub in the Asian region led by China to compete with the global markets.
In an interview with the CCTV channel of China, he has reiterated that his aim is to uplift Sri Lanka's economy by acting in cooperation with all states.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that China is a world power today. He recalled that earlier China was filled with bicycles, but today the country is filled with motor vehicles. He added that presently China is populated with massive apartment housing complexes and large factories. However, in the past, none of this was visible. The president said that this was a great transformation and that he was astounded by this development.
The CCTV journalist inquired the president on his opinion regarding the Chinese president.
President Wickremesinghe said that he is a formidable leader. Recollecting the memories of his meeting with the Chinese president, the president said that he is a knowledgeable individual and easy to conduct a dialogue with him. The president also said China is able to create changes in the world and the Chinese leader could be regarded as a person who could make such changes.
The media person said that Sri Lanka has stated that it is hoping to join the RCEP Solidarity. An inquiry was also made on Sri Lanka's role in the Regional Economic Cooperation. The media person has also questioned as to what benefits are to be received by Sri Lanka as a result of joining the RCEP.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe responded by saying that if Sri Lanka joins the RCEP, it will have access to the largest markets in the world. He further said that they had hoped to establish a South Asian free trade area, but that did not happen. It is feasible for Sri Lanka to join the RCEP as it has close ties with the members including China, Singapore and Malaysia. He also said that to further expand the cooperation, they need to strengthen economic competitiveness. Sri Lanka is willing to work for it, but if it joins the agreement, it will be to complete the global market, just like China. The president also said that he hoped to expand the market and attract investments in more region.
The CCTV media person has further pointed out on numerous criticisms levelled by Western countries on Chinese cooperation. They point out debt traps and other factors. The media person has inquired the president's opinion in this connection.
In response to this query, the president said that they only act in their own national interests. They do what is beneficial to stop when it's not. The cooperation with China has brought benefits to the country. The president also said that the Belts and Road initiative proposed by China has sparked discussion, citing the Hambantota International Port project in Sri Lanka, for example. He said that such projects have provoked criticism. However, he added that they are satisfied with the current cooperation and will continue to advance the relevant projects.
ඉන්දියාව එක්ක කරනවා. ෆ්‍රාන්ස් එක්ක දාන දෙනු ෆ්‍රාන්ස් එක්ක කරනවා. ඒවා අපි මිශ්‍ර කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ස්වාධීන රටක් හැටියට අපි
President Ranil Wickremesinghe will leave for China tonight to attend the 3rd Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. The president will engage in a 4-day official visit to China from tomorrow till the 20th. The Minipe Left Bank Development Project was vested with the people today. The Minipe Anicut in the Central Province receives a special place in the history of the country as the nation's first Mahaveli farm settlement was originated with this Anicut.
Minister Roshan Singha and State Minister Shashindra Rajpaksha presided over the inauguration ceremony. A preliminary reconstruction of the Minipe Anicut has been raising of the structure by 3.5 meters. This has created a minor reservoir of the capacity of 1.06 million cubic meters. The Anicut enables irrigate water to an extent of around 20,000 acres to cultivate the lands throughout the year. A special feature of this lake has been the ability to stock a massive water volume wasted away until now the Rantham Bay Hydro Power Station during the night hours. The ancient Minipe Canal has been a creation of King Sri Parakramabrahu. Historical records say King Dayasikaliya and properly completed the canal in the year 459 AD according to the historical sources. King Akbar I had also unleashed excellent efforts to divert the waters of the Mahavali River to the Manipani Ghat in the canal development during the period of 571 to 604 AD. The government, which came to power until the year 1970, also made efforts to extend the length of the canal from time to time to carry the water to Wasgamua. However, even at the final stage of the development project, it was not possible to fulfill the water requirement of the farmers. Yet the Manipur Left Bank Canal Development Project, implemented by the Ministry of Irrigation, was able to provide a lasting solution for the decade-long problem. It has also pointed out the project has been extended to benefits, providing sustainable solution for the climate impact of and fulfill the farmer needs for the water.
Israeli military continued to urge residents to move from northern Gaza to the south as it pledged to counter Hamas with an even greater force. However, the evacuation orders have been criticized by many humanitarian agencies. Gaza, a narrow strip of land sandwiched between Egypt, Israel and the Mediterranean Sea, has been pounded by Israeli forces in response to Hamas's brutal attack on Israel last weekend. The death toll continues to tick higher, with at least 1,300 killed in Israel and 2,300 in Gaza. Thousands are heading to the Rafah crossing at the south of the Gaza Strip on the border with Egypt, but according to reports, the crossing remains closed. On Friday, Israel said more than 1 million Palestinians should leave their homes in the north of Gaza and flee south ahead of an unexpected, or rather an expected, ground invasion. Various international officials and organizations have since pressured Egypt to create a humanitarian corridor allowing Palestinians to flee Gaza. But Egypt stressed in the statement its national security is a red line and there is no compromise in its protection. Egypt has so far been reluctant to open the last remaining exit for Gazans. Egypt also pledged Sunday to work with its international and regional partners in order to reduce the escalation and stop targeting civilians. The United Nations Relief Agency in the area warned that fresh water is running out of Gaza, putting 2 million people at risk. The World Food Programme is also running out of reserve stock inside Gaza and is so far unable to get more food into the enclave. According to officials, the World Food Programme has enough supplies to feed 1.3 million people for 2 weeks piled up on the border, but the group cannot yet safely enter Gaza. Israel has declared its northern border with Lebanon a closed military zone after deadly clashes with Hezbollah, as fears grow of the opening of another front amid an ongoing bombardment of Gaza Strip. Israel today warned civilians not to come within about 4 kilometers of the Lebanese border, or else they may be fired upon. This comes after one person was killed in Hezbollah attacks, which were met with the artillery fire from the Israeli side. President Ranil Wickremesinghe urges global unity to address escalating Israel-Hamas conflict and warns of a shifting global order as he calls for multilateral solutions in the face of mounting geopolitical challenges.
He made these observations delivering a speech at a seminar hosted by geopolitical cartographers and International Research Foundation specializing in Indian Ocean in Colombo. In the speech, President has expressed opinion regarding the conflict between the Hamas organization and Israel.
When Hamas attacked Israel, all our sympathies were with Israel. Sri Lanka, which had always supported Palestine, said no, this has to be condemned. So did many others. Then Israel, it took a day or two because I think firstly, before the survival of Israel was the survival of Netanyahu government. So, but by the time he got his act together, it was a question of going into Gaza. And the bombing of Gaza began. So there have been many questions. There were those who felt, most probably in most of the Middle East, other Muslim countries, that Israel should be condemned. And others said, no, Israel has suffered, let's see what this means. So the bombing is over now. In the meantime, Secretary of State Blinken went in there. America has announced its stand. Now we find that Israel has announced over 1 million people in Gaza, from North Gaza, has to move to the south. Now this in turn has drawn condemnations, not only from the UN, from the African countries, and even from some of the European countries. So what happens next if the people of Gaza has been asked to move out? It means Israel will move in. Why had the people of Gaza been moved out? Why was Gaza bombed? I mean, done with a purpose. I don't think Israel just went on a rampage. They thought that bombing Gaza, the buildings, bringing them down, was the first stage of cleaning out the tunnels in which Hamas is hiding. So if they go in and find Hamas and they fight as one issue, what happens if they go in and find that the Hamas is missing? The picture looks pretty bleak. If you go in there, you create another issue in the whole of Middle East, into the whole of the Muslim world and thereafter. Middle East means it will be unstable, the prices will be up, oil prices, others will all be affected. But this can change the world, global order. It can bring in other players. Can the US then manage this order alone? At least the minimum is they've got to talk to everyone, keep it going. But then countries like China, Russia and all are going to ask, what is Israel doing in Gaza? Today the relationships are so strained that no one is going to help each other. When the attack took place, 9/11, the whole world rushed to the help of the US. I don't see that now. Each one is looking at their own interest and how they are going to survive. So you can find that global order which has been functioning in different ways for the last 50-60 years as bipolar or unipolar, no longer responding. I think the first act is to ensure that the whole global geopolitical system can work together. I am surprised at some of the reactions that are taking place in different parts of the world. But those extreme reactions should not be allowed to hold sway, whether it's among the Islamic world or among the Israelis and the Jews or among the West. Then where do we go from here? Okay, I've said all this. I don't think Gaza and US will get together, and Israel can get together. I don't think you can even have a two-state solution. So what do you have? You have Israel that's functioning, Gaza that's destroyed, you have Palestine that is half functioning, and you have Lebanon that's also half functioning. At least got to take 4 states into. If you are going to look for a solution, establish 4 states, not for 2. And you got to think of Syria beyond that. All I can say is it's time we started thinking anew. Going along the old grooves will not help us. Whichever way the events turn out in the next few days.
In the meantime, of course, to provide an active update on the ongoing situation in the Gaza Strip, our very own senior journalist, Mr. Prasad Dodangoda of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation is in the studio with us. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Dodangoda. What is the latest situation in the Gaza Strip?
Yeah, actually, now according to the news item previously we saw, the situation report, the military build-up by Israel is quite strong and they are keeping it strengthening. We could see the military build-up backed by armor, infantry and artillery units of Israel military. At the same time, we could see some kind of a regional military activity because United States of America sent 2 strike groups, 2 aircraft carriers and 2 strike groups into the region. And at the same time, we saw the northern Israeli border became very unstable with the Hezbollah attack, and there is a possibility of opening a second front at the moment. Still, we don't see any activity in the West Bank side. So, if something happen in the West Bank, then there will be third front also for Israel. And the behavior of the outside players, definitely the United States of America are now actively involved in this situation, and Iran, the main backer of Hamas movement and the facilitator of Hamas and the international supporter of the Hamas group, Iran, has warned Israel that not to escalate this situation and not to create any disastrous situation in the Gaza Strip. So, as our president in his speech very clearly explained, the threat the looming threats in this region, because with all the total, the bigger picture, we could see some kind of a very unstable Middle East situation in coming days. At the same time, we could see both Hamas and Israel, they are playing a kind of psychological warfare games by using the lives of innocent civilians. First, Hamas launched, they are the ones who made the first move in the current crisis. Not the whole Israel-Palestine issue, but I am talking about the current crisis. They made the first move last Saturday by attacking Israel, into the Israel, and they invaded the southern Israeli areas and killed many civilians. We could clearly see that the aim of their attack was to harm many civilians, not the military, because now Israel mentioned that over 1,400 civilians have been killed in this Hamas operation. Only 286 military personnel were there. Rest of the people, civilians, including women and children. Then what happened? The reaction from the Israel was really violent, and massive scale air raid launched on Gaza. Up to now, 2,300 Palestinians were killed, and all the large number of these deaths, they were also civilians. We saw the plight of children of Gaza. So we could see that both parties are playing this game with risking the lives of civilians in the both countries, and at the same time now according to the international analysts, the international relations experts, the Palestinian side, mainly the Hamas, when they launched this attack, they could expect the reaction, this type of reaction from Israel, because when we consider the past, the things happen in the past. I saw a very interesting article in BBC mentioning that Gaza people, they tell their age, counting the number of Israeli attacks they faced during their lifetime.
I believe 44% of the Gaza Strip is said to be underage population.
Yes, yes. That's the catastrophic situation. The humanitarian crisis, the level of the humanitarian crisis, because the citizens of Gaza are facing, because now most of them are now northern Gaza people, they are fleeing to the southern areas following the Israel warning, and the biggest problem is the facilities, and how could these people survive under very harsh conditions and the blockade imposed by Israel. So these are the main areas we have to think about when we look into this situation, when we look into this crisis in the Middle East currently unfolding in Gaza and southern Israel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prasad, for that very detailed update on the current situation of what's happening in the Gaza Strip. And at the same time, we're going to move on to more local news updates. World Children's Day commemoration ceremony organized by the National Television has been conducted throughout the day today at the Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo. Many special features have been added on behalf of the Children's Day on this occasion. The National Television has celebrated the World Children's Day 2023 at the Vihara Mahadevi Park today amidst rainy weather condition. Children from many parts of the island were present with their parents at the event. Several recreational activities have been conducted on behalf of them. The sponsors of the gala event included Cargill's Magic Ice Cream, Kotmale Products, Kist Brands and Rankakulu Children's Accounts at the Bank of Ceylon and Prima Stella Noodles.
එකතු වෙලා හිටියා. ඉතින් ඔවුන්ගේ සහභාගීත්වයෙන් අද දවසේ ඉතාමත් උත්කර්ෂවත් අයුරින් පැවැත්වුණු මේ ජාති
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyabalapatiya says that it has become problematic to find certain groups making false statements regarding the forthcoming budget at a time when people are burdened by the economic collapse, are trying to stand up once again with some hope. The State Minister made these remarks clarifying on a statement given to the weekend newspaper by Professor of Economics. State Minister Ranjit Siyabalapatiya said that it is not trivial fact to note that 424 billion rupees of defence expenditure remain intact. He added that we must remain conscious of what would happen if we lack such protections. These allocations are being used for disaster management purposes and the maintenance of such institutions as well as the Kotalawala Defence University. The State Minister also said a sum of 527 billion rupees has been set aside for education. He further said that a statement of the economists were based on false information.
A special conference of the United National Party is scheduled to be conducted at the Sugata Dasa Indoor Stadium on the 21st of this month. General Secretary of the party, Palitha Rangi Bandara, said at a media briefing today that leader of the party and President Ranil Wickremesinghe will preside over the event. General Secretary of the UNP, Palitha Rangi Bandara, said that the special general conference is scheduled to commence at 2 p.m. on the 21st. He also said that the people through the Aragalaya had pointed out the need for a system change. He also said that the governing party of the country should take the leadership in providing such a change. The UNP, as one of the ruling party, has expressed its agreement in this regard. The UNP has plans to develop the country to suit to the needs of the future prior to the year 2048.
Continuous technical assistance of the World Bank has been entrusted upon the strategical process for a digital Sri Lanka program. The objective is to direct more than 1 million small and medium-scale entrepreneurs to the digitalization process by the year 2030. Another aim is to add $15 billion to the gross national product through the process. In a pioneering move to bolster small and medium-sized enterprises sectors of Sri Lanka, the apex body of information communication technology industry has unveiled DigiGo, a digital playbook for small and medium-scale entrepreneurs. The launch event took place at a press conference recently at the President's Media Centre, organised by FIDIS Digital Services Chapter in collaboration with the LK Domain Registry under the patronage of Ministry of Industries and Plantation Industries as well as the Ministry of Technology. DigiGo aims to serve as a comprehensive resource for SMEs seeking affordable local digital services, guiding them on their journey towards a digital transformation. The inaugural event, scheduled to commence on October 20th of this month in Galle. Addressing the gathering, State Minister Kanaka Herath said that pivotal role of technology in propelling the growth of the SME sector. He underscored how the technology can provide solutions to the common challenges faced by SMEs, including accessing seed capital, expanding into new markets, overcoming resource constraints, and addressing logistical issues. He also expressed his enthusiasm for collaborating with FIDIS to launch a DigiGo initiative, which he believes will significantly enhance the SME sector in the country.
Today's focus is on an energetic youth who has commenced an ornamental fish breeding from his home, leading to earning dollars. Amila Bandara of Dambulla has migrated to Japan during his youth to open a hotel to sell local cuisine. In the meantime, the business named Koi to breed exquisite fish. The fish of Amila has won a gold medal at a Japanese koi fish competition. This has enabled Amila to set up a koi fish breeding center in Sri Lanka at a cost of 600 million rupees. This center enables any person in the island to engage in fish breeding, and Amila has expressed his willingness to purchase their fish produce.
Now for few local items in brief. The Maternity and Children's Hospital, built in Nagada, Kaluthara, at a cost of 10 billion rupees, was declared open today. Minister of Health, Keheliya Rupavahini, presided over the opening ceremony. The four-storied hospital, fully equipped with operating theatres and 350 residential beds, have been constructed through a relief credit basis on the government of Netherlands. The minister also declared open the official website of the hospital. In addition, SLTV bus has been provided for the transportation for the hospital for passengers from Kaluthara to town. Vessel Brunswick of the United States Navy has sailed out of the island today. The ship crew, during their stay in the country, has visited many places of importance. The ship has arrived in Sri Lanka on the 11th of this month on an official tour. A suspect has been taken into custody recently over the killing of two persons and causing grievous injuries to two others in Thalduwa, Avisavella. When the suspect was underscored to Attavidya Road in Maniagama for the direction of the real evidence, this morning he had attempted to strangle one of the investigation officials using handcuffs, and the scuffle ensued. Officer and the suspect were injured, and suspect died upon admission to the hospital.
A program was conducted in the Karagal town yesterday to eliminate the dengue threat increasing rapidly with the onset of the rainy weather condition. A program has got underway to clean the town through participation of 100 youth of the Youth Brigade at the Karagal police station. The police have informed owners of business premises to keep the surroundings of the establishments clean. The health sources point out that cleanliness would help to ward off the spread of dengue menace. That's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
Prima Kutumi, Pantamai.
Now on foreign news, the western province of Herat in Afghanistan has been hit with a magnitude 6.3 earthquake. This is the third since the powerful quakes on October 8th, which killed more than 2,000 people.
At least one person has died, according to local Afghan health authorities. Another 100 are being treated for injuries in the regional hospital, the World Health Organization said. More than 90% of those who died in the earlier quakes were women and children, the UN's children agency UNICEF said. In its report, the United States Geological Survey said the epicenter of the latest tremor was 30 kilometers northwest of Herat, Afghanistan's third largest city close to the Iranian border. The Sunday's earthquake was the fourth one above the magnitude of 6 that had occurred in the country since October 7th, when two earthquakes with a magnitude of 6.2 jolted western Afghanistan's Herat and neighboring provinces and claimed thousands of lives.
Prima Kutumi, Pantamai.
Now on to sports news. We are looking at cricketing news at first. The World Cup is currently ongoing, and the latest Sri Lankan update is that Kusal Mendis has been appointed as the captain of the Sri Lanka ODIs team after Dasun Shanaka was ruled out of the tournament due to injury.
Kusal Mendis is the 26th ODI captain of the Sri Lanka team. He has extended leadership to the Sri Lankan team in a warm-up session match of the current World Cup tournament as well. Sri Lanka is scheduled to compete against Australia in a World Cup encounter in Lucknow tomorrow. Kusal Mendis, commenting on his preparations of the match, said that the leadership duties are not an additional burden on himself.
And currently the Rugby World Cup is also ongoing, and the latest development from there is that Argentina and New Zealand have become eligible for spots in the final round for the semis of the World Cup Rugby tournament.
In the first quarter-final match, Argentina beat Wales by a margin of 29-17. At the end of the first half, the Wales team was leading 10-6.
Free shot here for Maroney, 6 metres short. Brilliant work to get. Argentina do get on the board.
It's been all about Argentina running into space the last 2 minutes.
Emiliano Buffelli adds 3 more to the total. We eventually, Rio Dyer looking to swoop away, accelerate away, just stopped by Sanchez. Ball still alive, reserve it for the corner. Oh, pinch stolen, and it's a clear run to the line for the veteran Nicolas Sanchez to perhaps seal a semi-final for Argentina. Sanchez with the final say.
On for the All Blacks, here's Geordie Barrett.
In the second semi-final of the New Zealand team beat Ireland by 28-24 by becoming eligible for the semi-finals. At the end of the first half, the New Zealand team was leading 18-17.
Long ball to Bandiaki.
Prima Kutumi, Pantamai.
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.